What if I told you that Europe's most valuable company doesn't really sell handbags or champagne, that they sell something way more powerful? We're talking about LVMH, and it's an empire built not on physical products, but on pure, raw desire. Let's dig into how on earth they pull that off.
It really all boils down to this one kind of wild concept, the psychology of selling air. I mean, how do you take a thing, a tangible object, and wrap so much intangible value around it that the idea of it becomes more valuable than the thing itself? That's the secret we're going to unlock today.
And look, the numbers here are just staggering. LVMH isn't just a big company, it consistently holds the title of Europe's most valuable. This isn't just about being good at fashion, it's about a mastery of consumer psychology paired with just incredible financial power. The scale is almost hard to wrap your head around. Okay, so to really get how LVMH became this dominant force, you have to look at its roots. This thing wasn't built overnight. It's actually a fusion of these legendary houses, and each one has, centuries of history and prestige baked right in. I mean, just think about the heritage we're talking about here. You've got Moët and Chandon, which has been the toast of French royalty since 1743. Hennessy, basically defining what cognac is since 1765. And then Louis Vuitton, the man who completely changed how we travel way back in 1854. So when these giants merged in 1987, yeah, it created a powerhouse. But really, that was just setting the stage for what was to come, right? Because every empire needs its architect. And for LVMH, that person is, without a doubt, Bernard Arnault. He's the guy who looked at this new conglomerate and had the vision to forge it into the absolute global luxury leader we see today. And what's wild is that Arnault's background wasn't even in luxury. Nope, he was an engineer, a real estate developer. His first big move into this world was in 1984 when he bought up this struggling textile group. But there was a hidden gem in that deal, the iconic Christian Dior. Where everyone else saw a sinking ship, Arnault saw the crown jewel. And this is where Arnault's strategic mind just shines. He saw this opening, this crack in the armor, because the founding families of Louis Vuitton and Moët Hennessy were fighting internally. They actually invited him in to be a peacemaker. Big mistake. He ended up executing this legendary, almost ruthless corporate takeover, outplaying absolutely everyone. By 1989, boom, he was in complete control, and his reputation as a formidable visionary was sealed. So, with Arnault at the helm, the real work began. He wasn't just collecting brands like trading cards, he was engineering a single, massive empire with a very, very specific playbook. Let's break down how this whole thing actually works. The whole LVMH empire really rests on these 5 distinct pillars. You've got the iconic stuff, fashion and leather goods, the historic wines and spirits, and then it branches out into perfumes, watches, and even high-end retail like Sephora. This diversification is so key. It's their secret weapon for resilience. If one area has a slow year, the others are there to hold everything up. Now this right here, this is the absolute genius of the LVMH model. It's a paradox, but it works perfectly. Think of it like a big Hollywood studio. The central office, the studio, handles the money, the distribution, the big picture strategy. But they give their star directors total creative freedom to go make their movies. That's LVMH. In the center, you have this iron-fisted financial control. But out in the brands, it's total creative freedom. Each of the 75-plus houses is free to be itself, to protect its unique story, all while being backed by the insane resources of the group. It's the best of both worlds. Okay, so we've got the history, we've got the business model. Let's get back to that central mystery. How does LVMH actually sell air? Well, the answer isn't in a business textbook. It's in human psychology. Just think about it for a second. When you buy a luxury item, what are you really buying? I can tell you it is almost never just about the object itself. That product, it's just a container for something way more powerful. First and foremost, LVMH are masters of scarcity. Limited editions, waiting lists, eye-watering price tags. These aren't just business tactics. They are psychological tools designed to create desire. It's simple human nature. The harder something is to get, the more we want it. It turns buying something into a quest, an achievement. And then, of course, there's the power of status. These things are signals. They're a quiet way of communicating your success, your taste, your place in the world. Buying a luxury good isn't just a transaction, it's an act of identity. It's a way of showing the world who you are, or maybe more importantly, who you want to be.
And finally, it's all about the story. This is the magic ingredient. LVMH doesn't sell products, it sells rich, epic narratives. Stories of craftsmanship, of history, of tradition. You're not just buying a watch, you're buying a piece of a legacy that will outlive you. This is what they call the dream factor, and it's how you literally bottle and sell air. So, you've got this incredible model, this unstoppable force. What's next for the empire? Because, let's be real, no company, no matter how powerful, can afford to stand still. They have to evolve. So on the one hand, their strengths are obvious, right? A super diverse portfolio, just bottomless financial strength, and a global reach that's second to none. But on the other hand, the challenges are huge. You've got the nonstop battle against counterfeiters, a growing pressure from consumers for real sustainability, and of course, the billion-dollar question, who on earth could ever replace Bernard Arnault?
To stay on top, LVMH is already making some major moves. They're pouring money into digital transformation, everything from e-commerce to NFTs. They're making very public commitments to being more ethical and sustainable. And they're constantly changing how they market to connect with new generations like Gen Z and new customers in emerging markets. Which leaves us with one last really big question. For decades, this whole empire was built on a foundation of exclusivity, of scarcity, of a carefully crafted mystique. But we now live in an age that demands the opposite: transparency, authenticity, accessibility. So can the old magic of selling air still work in this brave new world? That is the challenge LVMH has to solve if it wants to dominate the next 100 years of luxury.